Hollywood must love the Giants' defense. They are the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
So far this season, Lawrence Taylor and his crazed dogs have been poaching quarterbacks into an endangered species. And the Giants are winning. In Minnesota, quarterback Tommy Kramer has had reason to smile again after seasons of darkness, while new coach Jerry Burns shows a Super Bowl sideline scowl. But the Vikings are sailing again on Kramer's 21 touchdown arm, and Minnesota's sights are set on a playoff spot. Yes, the Viking fans are shooting for the moon in 1986, but today the man in the moon is a Giant. For the first time in 10 years, the New York Giants will meet the Minnesota Vikings. We are live at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. A big game for both of these teams. The New York Giants are tied with the Washington Redskins at 8-2 atop the NFC East, and Dallas lurking behind at 6-4. Even bigger for the Minnesota Vikings. They are at 6-4, but their general manager Mike Lynn says they are not surrendering the division title at all, conceding nothing to the Chicago Bears, because a victory today and one next week against Cincinnati would set them up against teams they should beat: Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Houston, and New Orleans. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw here at the Metrodome. Obviously a big game, a pumped crowd. They have enjoyed the excitement provided by Tommy Kramer. He's back in favor again here in Minnesota. 21 touchdown passes to his credit, and the Vikings are winning. But today, they're against that awesome Giants defense and that tough pass rush.
Well, the Giants lead the National Football League, Tim, in sacks with 40. Now, 24 of the 40 come from Marshall and Taylor. Both of them come from Tommy Kramer's blind side, his left side. Today, look for that to happen. That's a main problem for the Vikings. Now, how are they going to stop it? Golly, Gary Zimmerman, the left tackle, young left tackle, and Jim Huff, the young guard, that's actually is playing with an injury. The two of them have a tremendous task today in giving Kramer time to throw the football. I talked to Tommy Kramer and said, well, how are you going to defeat this? He said, we're going to have to do what we did against the Bears when we beat them. Get into rhythmic passes, 1, 2, 3, and get rid of the football. Don't hold the football. Make big things happen on first down, and we can beat the Giants.
All right, Terry, well, the Minnesota Vikings will have an early opportunity to find out what they can do, because they will receive. The Giants will kick off from our left in their white uniforms, Raul Allegre. And a fine kickoff man. You saw his return average, 22.5. It's Rufus Best. But it comes to Alfred Anderson. He lets the ball bounce, and it rolls into the end zone and will be a touchback. So the Vikings will start from their 20-yard line. Tommy Kramer, who has had a hot hand, passing at 57%, a rating of 95.3. That's number 2 in the National Football Conference. And he faces that devastating defense, ranked number 5 in the entire league: George Martin, Jim Burt, Leonard Marshall, the front 3. Banks, Reasons, Carson, and Taylor. What a load at linebacker. Elvis Patterson back in his corner spot on the left side. Harry Williams on the right. Hill and Kennard are the safeties. First down for the Vikings, and a first down pass. Kramer wants to go deep. The release man is Alan Rice, as the Giants had good coverage downfield. A flag down at the line of scrimmage. Referee Pat Haggerty signals a defensive holding call on the first play of the game. So Tommy Kramer showed exactly what Terry Bradshaw had predicted, trying to get the ball deep downfield on the very first down for the Vikings today.
Holding.
Good coverage.
Number 53, defense, first down.
Harry Carson charged with the defensive holding, number 53. Minnesota offensively with Darren Nelson and Alfred Anderson, the running backs. Wide receivers Anthony Carter and Leo Lewis. Tight end Steve Jordan, who leads the club in receptions. Zimmerman, Huff, Swilly, Tausch, and Irwin. who figure to have their hands full today against that front three and the linebackers of the Giants. Anderson picks up about 4 on the play. Carl Banks and Harry Carson on the stop, 58 and 53 respectively. Anderson last week in the game against Detroit picked up about 60 yards and has 184 on the season. Last week was his best effort so far, coming off injuries that bothered him last year, his sophomore season in the NFL. Alan Rice and Alfred Anderson will bring the plays into Tommy Kramer. Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator of the Vikings. 2nd down and 6. Short drop for Kramer. Out of the backfield, Darren Nelson. First down, Vikings to their own 43-yard line. Gary Reasons and Mark Collins. Collins in at Patterson's corner spot, number 25. Collins had become the starter when Elvis Patterson suffered a groin injury a few weeks back. Last week, Collins suffered a separated shoulder in the victory over the Eagles. It was mild enough that he's been permitted to practice and play all this week, and he's out there now. We'll see both Collins and Patterson. Collins, the rookie from Cal State Fullerton, picked up in the 2nd round of the draft this year by the Giants. Play action on 1st down. Kramer is sacked by Leonard Marshall.
The thing they didn't want to have happen was go into a long play, a long series this time, Tim, where it would allow them to pin their ears back. In this case, it was Marshall coming out with a little play action, hoping to hold the linebackers. Did not hold Marshall, who said, "The heck with that. I'm coming through." As you can see, gets through, gets to the inside. Kramer trying to find some time, going back inside, but Marshall, that time just too quick.
10.5 sacks on the season for the 285-pound Leonard Marshall. 2nd and 15. Vikings were just underway at the Metrodome. Darren Nelson, nowhere to go. Giants stacked that up in the middle of the Giants defensive line. George Martin, the left defensive end, number 75, and Carl Banks, the linebacker, with the contact. George Martin playing for the first time ever against his brother Doug, left defensive end of the Vikings. George, the senior of the brothers, having a little reunion here in Minnesota. Looking forward to it. The first time ever they played against each other. Last night, Doug bought the meal. George bought the tickets.
George
to the game.
got the tickets. Fair swap, huh?
3rd down and 12. Out of the shotgun, Kramer going deep. Hassan Jones, and it's broken up inside the 20-yard line. Mark Collins back there on the coverage, and help from Herb Welch, the safety, number 27.
Great play by Collins. Actually, that time Hassan Jones had 2 steps on Collins. You can see now, even with the injured shoulder, Tim, why the Giants like him in there. He has what they call that second burst that enables him, even though he has been beaten initially, when the ball's in the air, he can make a burst and get there and knock it down. That time, that's exactly what he did.
Phil McConkey is the punt return man for Greg Coleman. Coleman standing at his own 27-yard line. McConkey waiting for it at the 15. Coleman gets it, dandy out. McConkey will let it go, and it is almost down at the goal line. Carl Lee right at the goal line trying to catch up with the punt by Coleman. A 59-yard strike by Coleman, who's just unhappy that he couldn't get that ball to be stopped right near the goal line. We'll return to the Metrodome, scoreless, 11:55. Well, there's a rear view of Collins and Taylor on the Giants defensive unit. Collins making that good breakup of the pass intended for Hassan Jones, rookie wide receiver, and that's Bill Belichick, defensive coordinator, talking strategy to them. The Giants have it for the first time offensively. Phil Simms brings out the New York Giants at their own 20. Play action pass on 1st down. The sideliner is complete to Stacy Robinson. 1st down yardage for the Giants to the 34-yard line. Carl Lee pushed him out of bounds after a 14-yard gain. Stacy Robinson back after 4 games with a bad ankle. Defensively for Minnesota, the 4-3 of Floyd Peters, Doug Martin, Tim Newton, Keith Ballard, and Mark Mullaney. Linebacking core has Chris Martin on the left side, Scott Studwell, and Jesse Solomon for the injured David Howard, although Howard will see some time. Holt, Browner, Harris, and Carl Lee, the secondary. First down, New York. Joe Morris picks up about 3, and that is just bulldogged down by Mark Mullaney, number 77. Offensively for the Giants, as we look at that Darth Vader helmet of Mullaney's, Sims with Morris and Maurice Carthen, Stacy Robinson, Bobby Johnson, Mark Bavaro, the tight end. Brad Benson, Billiard, Oates, Godfrey, and Nelson, the rest of the offensive line. Robinson back, as we said, after 4 games out with an ankle injury and badly needed an experienced receiver. Second-year man, picked up the second round a year ago. That's Bavaro for a first down inside the 50-yard line, Minnesota territory. Jesse Solomon made the tackle there. A 15-yard gain, and you know, Terry, Bavaro, bothered with a foot injury, did not practice until yesterday, but he has been the main man for the Giants passing game so far this season.
Bill Parcells said last week against the Eagles that they deliberately try to get Sims started in the right direction by coming out throwing early. Unfortunately, Bavaro dropped 3 of those passes early in the first quarter of that game. Good start this week.
First down, Giants at the 49 of Minnesota. Joe Morris. Morris for about 4. Stopped by Tim Newton, the big left tackle, and Jesse Solomon, the linebacker. Joe Morris, who already has 5 100-yard games to his credit, 4 in a row, has been the main man in the offense with the injuries to the wide receivers, Lionel Manuel, Stacy Robinson, Bobby Johnson playing with an ankle injury. The load has fallen on the running game, and the running game is represented by one short running back, 5'7" Joe Morris, and he is delivered. Second down and 7. Lots of time for Sims, and he runs up the middle. Gets about 3 yards. Good coverage downfield. Doug Martin tripped him up.
One of the things you like in an offense is that, number 1, you can throw on first down, you're successful. Number 2, you run on first down and you're successful. Now you come back, you try to throw again. So what do? You scramble on first down. Sims early, especially early in his career, excellent at this. Injuries, of course, in the 82 and 83 season slowed him down. Doesn't do that as much anymore, and I think that's smart.
Third down and a long 3 for the Giants. Tony Galbraith and Phil McConkey have come in. They're in the shotgun. Lots of time again for Sims. He's got his man McConkey. First down inside the 25 of Minnesota.
The key to this is the offensive line giving Sims enough time to sit back, read the coverage, and go first receiver, second receiver. As you can see, McConkey coming on the inside. Lee's trailing him automatically right now. Now, Harris, 44, the free safety, just freezes in the middle. McConkey goes by him. Good job by Sims.
First down, Giants, 25-yard line in Minnesota. Opening offensive series for New York. Maurice Carthen straightened up right at the line of scrimmage. He got maybe 2. Met by Jesse Solomon, the linebacker number 54 out of Florida State. He was picked in the 10th round, walked into Mike Lynn, the general manager's office,
and said, sign me.
Yeah, I'm going to make your club.
You're going to negotiate my contract. Lynn looked at him and said, who are you? He said, well, I'm a low round 12th rounder, and I'm going to make this football team.
And he has, and he's been playing more and more, especially with the injury to David Howard. Bad elbow. Second and 8. Sims going for it all. Oh, incomplete. Out of the hands of Joe Morris in the end zone.
Excellent throw. It would have taken a great catch, but that ball was well thrown right through the hands of Morris. Once again, I like the offense. I like the way the Giants are mixing it up. Morris on the right of your screen disappears, goes down the field. Now he's picked up by a back. Good job by Phil Sims staying in there. And look at this throw right through the hands of Morris. He leaps at 5'7". You can't ask for more of a leap than that, I guess, Tim.
And that was Jesse Solomon, the linebacker, who had to chase him all the way to the end zone. And he was open, couldn't quite hold on. Third down, 8 to go. to the left side for Sims. Complete in and out of the hands of Robinson. He had the football, but a tough hit by Lush, number 27.
Lush
the ball loose.
You're going to see Stacey Robinson, been gone for a while, is really not used to the contact. I would say that the hardest thing on new receiver coming out of not playing, Tim, is the fact not catching it, but catching it in a crowd. Ball's thrown a little high. He goes up, makes a good effort for it, but Lush and Lee, hey, that sounds nice. Lush and Lee are there to knock the ball away.
Fourth down, it'll be a field goal try from the 31 from Raul Alegre. There are his numbers for the season. It'll be a 41-yard attempt. Indoor football at the Metrodome. And he's got it. Raul Alegre likes the conditions here. And the Giants, on their first offensive possession, have taken a 3-0 lead. 7:48 remaining here in the first quarter.
Alegre knew he had it. Look, he just turns, Tim, runs to the bench, jumping up and down, saying, all right, 3-0. Giants on top.
That young man must know he's on TV. Took his helmet off. Give everybody a better look. His handsome features, Raul Alegre, who surpassed a number of placement kickers for the Giants this season, starting with Ali Haji Sheikh, and then Cooper Thomas, and it's Alegre who opens the scoring here. 4:07 used up on the clock, and Terry Bradshaw, we've seen both teams come out throwing the football, but I think from the Giants' point of view, Parcells trying to get Sims off on the
That's the difference. The Vikings doing it because they have to do it. Giants doing it because they want Sims to get involved and get his confidence back.
Ted Brown returning the kickoff, gets to the 20-yard line for the Vikings, and they will start there at the 20-yard line, down 3-0. Right now, let's go to our studio in New York, Brent Musburger, for an update on the Bear-Packer game.
Well, Tim, it is the Green Bay Packers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Battle of the Bay. Randy Wright, off that concussion a week ago, is healthy. Number 16, 53 yards to number 85. Philip F. If the Packers aren't careful, they'll deal themselves out of the Benny Testaverde rush. Let's go back to Tim.
All right, Brent, and let's call that one Green Bay, Tampa Bay, as it is. First down, Vikings here. We are at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tommy Kramer, 21 touchdown passes on the season, heading toward breaking his own Viking record in that department. This one is off the mark, intended for Allen Rice out of the backfield, number 36. Second down.
You're going to see Taylor coming in this time. Taylor is simply coming on his own, ties in with the coverage. Just isn't an all-out blitz. But the thing that he does here, Tim, is just enough to offset Tommy. As you can notice, Kramer is still drifting backwards, doesn't get set, rushes a little bit. Therefore, it was a bad throw. That's what Taylor will do. He not necessarily is going to get to you every time, but doggone it, you keep thinking you've got to get rid of the football.
David Huffman has come in for Jim Huff. Huff with a pinched nerve in his neck, probably already experiencing some difficulty. 2nd and 10. Backpedaling Kramer sets up the screen to Alfred Anderson. Close to the first down over the 30-yard line.
There are a lot of ways to handle a rushing lineman and a blitzing linebacker. You can trap him, because if you do that, you're in the secondary. Another way is throw these little screens. Let them penetrate and then throw over their heads and have a big play.
Steve Nelson, the tight end, injured on the play. Their leading pass receiver this season with 34 catches coming into the game and averaging 16.2 in yardage. And he hurt his thigh last week. He was icing his ankle when we were watching practice, following practice here on Friday. And this looks like yet another injury to
Well, he's holding
Steve
his
Jordan.
head, so it looks like that his head went down and popped on that turf down there, and that stuff doesn't give a lot. He's walking okay. Probably just had his head banged around. A little short on the first down attempt. Third down, probably, I don't know, 8 inches, 9 1/4 inches.
testing your eyes from here, Bradshaw.
Really, I can't even see it.
There's Jerry Burns. He gets that scowl set on, doesn't let it off until the game's over, and he's got a victory in his pocket. He's done that 6 times out of 10 so far. Mike Malarkey comes in to replace Jordan on this next down. You would think that this is an unhappy man, but he's actually having plenty of fun so far this season.
Really, he's right now. He's pretty fired up. You can tell that. You get around him a little bit, you know the difference.
He gets that game face on. 3rd and inches for the Vikings, just over their 30-yard line. Kramer will go for it, and he would appear to have it.
I love it. Get the power back in there.
Well, the crowd here appreciates 2-Minute Tommy now. He's had his great times. He's had some lean times. He's had fans love him and fans boo him. He's a pro's pro.
So it kind of goes with the territory. Some cities, it seems the quarterbacks go through a lot more than others. But here in Minnesota, especially Minneapolis, Tommy Kramer has been kind of one of those love-hate relationships.
First down, Vikings, their own 31-yard line. Jordan is back in. This is Darren Nelson. What a defensive play out the left side by Jim Burt. The nose tackle wrapping up Darren Nelson. You know, Nelson, I think, is one of the best kept rushing secrets in the league, Terry. He's got 500 yards rushing through 10 games. And we talk an awful lot about Joe Morris at 5'7", Nelson at 5'9", 180 pounds, having a fine year rushing the football. Got about a yard there before Burton put the ankle grab on him. 2nd and 9. Leo Lewis wide to the left. Dangerous Anthony Carter out the right side, number 81. Darren Nelson, little cutback play to the 40-yard line. Kind of a cute play there, Terry.
Well, what that was, Tim, was a sprint draw. Kramer opening up, and they have shown in their offense the ability to take Kramer and sprint him out, and people think, well, they're going to pass the football. This time Kramer opens up and he'll sprint out, and then all of a sudden delayed hand back to Nelson. No one there. Excellent play.
Jim Burt again on the tackle. Burt leads the down lineman in tackles for the Giants, 46 coming into the game. Great attitude, good leader. 3rd down, long yard. And he heading in for reasons. And Kramer gets the first down. Is that designed or busted?
No, that's a busted play. Tommy opening up to his left, looking for a running back. Does the old pirouette, and when he turns back around, heck, it's probably as good a short yardage play as I've ever seen. Look at this. Opens up to the left, misses the back, which was Nelson, turns around and follows the guy right in the hole. A lot of quarterbacks probably would have gone off tackle or somewhere else and gotten sacked and not made the first down, but Kramer was smart enough to go in the hole designed for the play.
Harry Williams stopped him, but not before the first down. Vikings at their 44-yard line. Down yardage and then driven back by Terry Kennard. That's the kind of pass you were describing in our opening, Terry. Get it off in a hurry.
Well, it's a play that you have to have when you're throwing to the left. You have Carter coming in from the left on a quick slant. As you see, gets inside of Williams. Right now, Williams is beat. The ball's thrown in there quickly. Right when he gets past him, there's the football. Forces Kennard to come up and make the stop. But they got it off quickly, and they got it off in the direction, Tim, that LT, Lawrence Taylor, was coming from.
Time remaining, first period. First down, Vikings. Giants 45. Anderson. Fine effort by Alfred Anderson. Broke the first hit near the line of scrimmage. Finally driven out by Kennard and Collins, but a gain of 6 for Alfred Anderson, the 3rd-year man from Baylor. What an outstanding rookie year. Last year plagued by injuries. This year starting to look like what they expected when they drafted him, number 2 in '84.
Well, he's a big, tough back. One of those typical Baylor backs that not only is he an outstanding runner, big, powerful back, but he's also an excellent receiver.
2nd down and 4, Vikings. 39-yard line of the New York Giants. The Giants lead 3-0. 3:36 to go, first quarter. For Darren Nelson. To the 25-yard line, a 14-yard pickup for the Stanford star.
The thing that's happening, Tim, is that Kramer's showing pass, and the linemen are showing pass, and then they're going back inside. Notice how the tackle and the guard back up and show pass, and then all of a sudden the linebackers drop deep, and then boom, Kramer hands off to a back. The linebackers are deep, and Lawrence Taylor's way behind the play, and you get a big first down.
That's a fine play, and their offense really designed defensively against Taylor, and it's working so far. Darren Nelson picks up 3. Gets to about the 21-yard line before George Martin wraps him up. Big number 75, 12-year man from Oregon. George Martin was once a backup tight end at Oregon to Russ Francis. But you know, it was fun listening to him talk to his brother, wasn't he? When you asked him, he said, who's the better player? He said, Doug is the better player.
Well, he said Doug was. He said Doug has the natural ability. He said, I'm more of a thinking man's type of defensive
basketball player.
He said, I'm a frustrated basketball player. I remember blocking George Martin in a preseason game, which I'm sure he's yet to forgive me for.
2nd and 8. Swing pass nearly picked off by George Martin. And the Giants shut that down after a gain of about 2. Nelson was lucky that he wasn't in a foot race against George Martin going for the Minnesota end zone.
Sometimes you try to outguess people. I would want to throw my screens towards Lawrence Taylor because he's the guy that's going to come. He's the man that they want to put pressure on. Now, when you throw it to the strong side where the tight end is, you have linebackers that pretty much read. They're not explosive linebackers. They stay at home. Therefore, you don't have as much success.
And it was Gary Reasons who stayed at home, number 55, and made the tackle. Sally, Dorsey, Lasker, and Welch all in the defensive unit now of the Giants on 3rd down. Hit as he released the ball, and it will be an incomplete pass. They got the hit on him. Giants thought it may have been ruled a fumble, but he was moving forward.
You can tell one of the things that has to happen is they have to be able to have 3rd and 1, not these 3rd and longs, because when they have a long time to throw the football or you have to go deep, Marshall coming in from the blind side, as we said at the top of the show, Tim, boy, you're putting a lot of pressure on Gary Zimmerman, the left tackle for the Vikings, to block him. Marshall just too strong, too quick.
Well, and for Gary Zimmerman, a certain little extra motivation. The Giants owned his rights, tried to sign him. He didn't want to come to New York. He likes to hunt and fish and play in the great outdoors, although he's playing indoor football. They wound up dealing him on draft day to Minnesota for 2 draft picks. Those picks turned out to be Mark Collins and Greg Lasker, both of whom the Giants are happy with. From the 30-yard line, it'll be Chuck Nelson attempting the field goal. Nails it. A 40-yard field goal for Chuck Nelson. And we are tied at 3 in the first period. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. You see Alfred Anderson having his ankles taped. And the Vikings went 57 yards in 13 plays, culminating in Nelson's 39-yard field goal, using up 6:29 on the clock. And we're tied at 3. Chuck Nelson, who won a battle of field goal kickers here in Minnesota to get the job. Ball was 13 in a special kickers camp. Comes down at the 11-yard line. Phil McConkey has it there and has some daylight out to the 34-yard line. Wrapped up by Evans, number 26. Now let's take you to Brent Musburger for an NFL update from New York.
Well, Tim, next week it'll be the Green Bay Packers in Chicago to play the Bears. The Packers are exploding in Milwaukee from the shotgun. Randy Wright, 12 yards. Number 80, James Lofton, his 4th touchdown catch of the season. 14-0, Green Bay with the lead. Back to Tim and Terry.
The Pack making some good things happen in Green Bay. The Packers under Randy Wright. Quite a pop from Charles Mann of the Redskins. Glad to see him out there. Joe Morris gets about 5 on 1st down near the 44-yard line of the Giants. Mike Stensrud made the tackle, number 74. Morris with 111 yards against the Eagles last week for his 4th consecutive 100-yard day, and he is now over the 1,000-yard mark for the season with that run.
Keith Millard, right tackle for the Vikings. And man, they can't afford to lose. Looks like he's got some kind of injury, Tim.
The ice pack out. We'll keep you updated on him. 2nd down, Morris with a lot of running room. To the 45-yard line of the Vikings. Phil Simms to Joe Morris out of the backfield, and a 1st down in Viking territory.
You're going to see what happened as Morris will just come over. A little play action. Sims coming back. Play action. All this is just trying to hopefully hold the linebackers. Turns right around and just dumps the ball off to Morris. Now, the linebackers had gone with the flow. They'd gone completely out of the picture, Tim. And as you can see, no one there except Holt finally comes up and makes the stop.
First down, Giants. 45-yard line in Minnesota. We're tied at 3. Time winding down first quarter. Morris off tackle. Gets only a couple. Chris Martin, number 57, after Studwell tripped him up. Martin finished him off. Gain of 2.
The thing they're doing on first down is Vikings are overloading. They're taking their tackles and playing what they call an over defense to the tight end side, trying to stop Morris going that way. Excellent job by Godfrey and Nelson that time, guard and tackle for the Giants, of driving them off and allowing Morris to get in, at least get a couple of yards.
Gun sounds ending the first quarter here at the... Perfect football weather indoors here today in Minneapolis. Not bad outside. Sunny skies and approaching 40 degrees in normally frigid Minnesota. 2nd and 8 for the Giants. The Vikings without Keith Millard. He's on the bench with an ice pack on his right knee. Mike Stensrud, the former Houston Oiler, number 74, in his place. Sims will run it. Joey Browner, the ball came loose, but it was already down. The Giants first down at the 32-yard line. Joey Browner got a good lick in on Phil Sims.
Good guesswork this time by the Giants, by the Vikings, expecting Sims to throw, send their linebackers. As you can see, Solomon coming from the outside, Studwell up the middle. The pressure goes by Sims. He says, holy mackerel, let me take off and run. Now here, he gets the first down, Tim, but now he says, well, let me get some more. No way. Browner, necktie.
That is some purple necktie. Doesn't look too good on that white jersey. First down at the 32-yard line. Giants. Morris straight ahead. Another first down at the 16-yard line of the Vikings. John Harris, the last man, number 44, made the stop, of 14-yard gain.
Straight up the middle, nothing fancy. As you can see, Oates and the right guard, Godfrey, going down inside. There's the block by Godfrey, and then the splitting of the secondary by Morris. You know, for a little fella, and as quick as he is, he's awfully strong. As you said earlier in the week, Tim, all legs, very little torso.
First down, Giants threatening now at the 16-yard line of the Vikings. We're tied at 3. Maurice Carthen. About 4 yards, maybe 5, near the 10-yard line where Mark Mullaney makes the stop. Now let's go to Brent Musburger once more for another NFL update.
Well, Giant fans, remember the Sheik, Ali Haji Sheik, now kicking for Atlanta, activated this week. He's put the Falcons ahead of the Bears 3-0. And Tim, the Bears had the ball 3 downs and out in the opening quarter. Let's go back to Ted.
Well, the mighty Bears, Super Bowl champs, having their problems, turbulent times in the Windy City. And Atlanta, a tough team against anybody. 2nd and 5 here in Minnesota. Short drop for Sims, has lots of time, but it's out of bounds. Johnson, the intended receiver, number 88. In the end zone was Stacy Robinson, number 81. But Sims either off target or just threw that one away.
Well, the real key here was he wanted that time Lee 39 to come up and press Robinson. Then if he did that, he was going to try to hit the fade, but he didn't. That time Lee stayed off of Robinson, so when Johnson came in and broke out, he was wide open. Sims saw him too late.
Sims 4 of 7, 63 yards so far. We're just underway in the second quarter in Minneapolis, and a timeout has been called by the New York Giants. 13-10 to play here in the first half. Sims will talk things over with Coach Bill Parcells. Ron Earhart upstairs, the offensive coordinator.
Interesting that this week
we'll be back here at the Metrodome in a moment.
I had no idea.
This man murdered 7. League is sponsored by Miller High Life. Miller made the American way since 1855. Chrysler Motors and its automotive divisions, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Dodge Trucks, working together to be the best. And by Napa Auto Parts, with all the right parts in all the right places.
We are back at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw, where the New York Giants are knocking on the door. 3rd down and 6. Just inside the 12-yard line of the Vikings. A 3-3 football game early in the 2nd quarter. Sack.
Mulaney coming inside. The real key here is the fact that not a receiver was open to him. Everyone was covered. Now Sims is looking around. Mulaney actually was knocked down, got up, and made the sack.
So the Vikings come up strong defensively with a key sack. And now Raul Alegre will attempt his 2nd field goal of the afternoon from the 27-yard line. And the kickers like indoor football. Alegre from 37 adds that field goal to his 41-yarder earlier. And it is 6-3 for the Giants. We have 12:46 to play here in the first half of play, and Raul Alegre celebrating his 2nd field goal of the afternoon. Giants 6, Minnesota 3. Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw. There's the man who came up with a big defensive play for Minnesota, Mark Mulaney.
That's right. The thing they did that time, the Vikings, Tim, was Mulaney, a natural right defensive end, moved over to the left side, kind of threw him off a little bit.
Little squib kickoff by Alegre, and it's handled by Tim Irwin, the big tackle, who takes a hit and managed to hold on to the football. What a good job by the big guy. 6-year man from Tennessee doesn't expect to be making football grabs.
Well, they don't need to have Irwin go down. He's starting right tackle.
And yes, he took 2 pops on that play and is down and hurting, but he held on to the football. Tim Irwin, the right tackle. Solomon Miller, rookie wide receiver, who got the hit on him for the Giants.
The Vikings don't like for their linemen to handle the football. Normally, in a case like this, the lineman should get away from it and block and let the guys behind him come up and make this. You see Rufus Best coming up to make the reception, and holy mackerel, Irwin just gets decked.
Yeah, he had Best and Anderson behind him, but I guess it's that old instinct. You see the ball and
sure
try and pull it down, which he did effectively and held on, but he's hurt. Well, while they attend to Tim Irwin.
Gloves on, all taped up. It's kind of hard to get the fingers out there and make a nice clean catch.
Dave Huffman has taken Irwin's place for this first down, at least number 72. Number 2 pick out of Notre Dame back in 79. First down at the 25-yard line. Darren Nelson. Hit by Lawrence Taylor at the line of scrimmage. There'll be a loss or no gain.
A lot of great pilots in the Air Force say they can tell another great pilot by the eyes of an eagle. And look at Lawrence Taylor's eyes. Is he focused in? Is he zeroed in on his opponent? Look at this, down the line of scrimmage. Then all of a sudden sees his victim and then explodes, leading with a helmet, and knocks him down. Eyes of an eagle.
LT, 74 tackles on the season coming into the game, leading in solo tackles with 57. No gain, 2nd and 10. Midfield for the Minnesota Vikings.
When you don't send Taylor, you put the responsibility of rushing Kramer on Leonard Marshall. This time, the right of your screen, Lawrence Taylor just stands there. The Giants drop back into a zone. Jordan reads it, goes around one linebacker, sits down, and Kramer gets in the football.
Tommy Kramer passing at 57% on the season. The veteran in his 10th year out of Rice can read those defenses. Took advantage there. First down. It's good time. Incomplete, intended for Darren Nelson. Bill Parcells has never had to face Tommy Kramer in the pros, remembers him from college days. Let's go again to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, folks in Philadelphia are interested in this one. Joe Ferguson has thrown his first touchdown pass of the season for Detroit. It goes to Jeff Chadwick. It's 72 yards, and the Lions in Philadelphia lead the Eagles 7-0. And let's go back to Tim.
All right, Brent, we are at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. 2nd and 10, Vikings at midfield, trailing 6-3. To Anthony Carter, hit immediately by Elvis Patterson, but first down Minnesota.
Once again, the Giants electing, Tim, to not send their linebackers, not blitz this time. You can see as Kramer gets pressure upside, he'll move outside. Then good job by Carter of continuing on his route, working back to Kramer. As you can see, Kramer going out. Now he's outside, he's looking downfield, finds AC Anthony Carter as he comes back inside and makes a reception.
Kramer now 6 of 10 for 72 yards here in the first half. First down at the Giants' 35-yard line. Alfred Anderson make it to Alan Rice, number 36. Rice picks up about 2. Not a whole lot of room behind Tim Irwin and Terry Tausch. Irwin, by the way, missed just 1 play after being hurt on that kickoff. Came right back in. David Huffman out. Here you see the Falcons in front of the Bears and Green Bay shutting out Tampa Bay. 2nd and 8. 34-yard line of the New York Giants. Carter, first down. Kramer read that, didn't he, Terry?
He did a beautiful job. There was a change up in the secondary and in the defensive line this time as Marshall came down inside in what they call a lined up kind of a ram. Look at now, you see Marshall down up inside tight. Now he's coming in, double teaming him by Swilly. A good job by Swilly that time. Holding him out, giving Kramer time to see the corner. Corner is blitzing. Kramer sees it and then pops the ball to Carter. 1, 2, 3, boom, get rid of the football.
There's Perry Williams in your screen right there, number 23 on the blitz. First down, Vikings rolling in Giants territory. Darren Nelson nowhere to go. Giants defense strung it out the left side, pushed everybody back. Carson and Banks were there to lead the charge.
You know, you can look at that play. A long sweep would indicate to me the same thing as a long pass, Tim. And the Giants don't allow you the time to stretch their defense out. They have too much pursuit. You're better off hitting little quick plays up the middle, little quick passes, and not allow them to get the great pursuit on you.
It's an interesting comparison. You need the time to get the guy around the corner, like you need the time to get it downfield.
Long sweep allows everyone to react.
2nd down and 14 with a 4-yard loss by the Giants defense led by Carson and Banks. Forced out and dropped by Lawrence Taylor. 2nd sack of the day. First for the NFL's leading sacker, Lawrence Taylor.
You're going to see what Taylor, this is how excited and hungry Taylor is to get to the quarterback. Notice as he comes, now he makes a move inside. Now he's hit again. He tries to maintain his balance and swings back around, and he and George Martin get to Kramer at the same time.
Loss of 6 more on the play. 3rd down, nearly 20. You see Taylor into the game with 15.5. Well, he's 15.5 now. Ahead of Dexter Manley of the Redskins. 3rd down, shotgun situation. Kramer trying to escape. Can't do it. Wrapped up by Jerome Sally, number 78. Kramer actually did a good job to get as far as he did, picking up about 6 yards, but it brings up another 4th down.
Something that'll happen, and we'll be alert for this, is that as a quarterback is constantly harassed, later on in the game, when the game especially becomes tense and really close to him, the quarterback has a tendency to say, I don't have enough time, and he gets out of his reads and starts running and starts reading the defensive lineman's rush instead of reading the coverage. And as they continue to pressure Kramer, it will make him change and start looking for people to sack him.
2-minute Tommy checking the time. Scoreboard, 7:05 to go. And from the 35-yard line, Chuck Delson will try to tie it up. A 45-yard attempt. 11 under perfect, the field goal kickers. 2 for 2, Chuck Nelson. 2 for 2, Raul Alegre. As the defenses have stopped them approaching the red zone, it's been up to these men, and they've delivered.
One of the great young defensive tackles in the National Football League, Keith Millard, obviously got a knee injury, going to be out of this football game. Maybe he'll be back, I don't know. But in talking to him and talking to his coaches, they love him. This guy leads the National Football League in sacks for tackles with 8.5, and a real inspiration, a real fiery, competitive guy.
Nelson will kick it off. Tackle at the 20-yard line by Walker Lee Ashley, number 58. Well, next Sunday on CBS Sports, doubleheader action in the NFL, the Chicago Bears against their old nemesis, the Green Bay Packers. And then two teams with high playoff hopes, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. That's a big East matchup for the games in your area. Check the local listings. Starts with the NFL today, next week on CBS Sports. First down, Giants. Play action, Sims. Morris. Tough hit on him from Chris Martin, but about a 6-yard pickup for the Giants. Now let's take you to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, so far it has been a tough afternoon for the Chicago Bears. About 10 minutes to go in the first half. They don't have a first down. Here's a Reggie Wilkes interception for the Falcons. Mike Tomczak 0-4 with an interception, but the Bear defense has knocked Dave Archer out of the game. Turk Schonert's in. The Falcons with the 3, back to Tim.
Back here in Minneapolis, it is 2nd and 3, and Morris gets away from the first man, but not Browner. Joe Morris, a loss of a couple on the play. Chris Martin tried to tie him up, couldn't hold him, but got helped.
Martin, 57, in the vicinity of your screen, just going to go across the line of scrimmage, down inside Bavaro, up inside, and now he nails Morris in the backfield, but doesn't make the tackle. Browner, the strong safety, he comes up and he finishes Morris off.
Lucas Betts, Mike Lush, David Evans in defensively. Goldman as a pass rusher on 3rd down for Minnesota. First down to the 40-yard line. And the former Viking, who is truly a specialist in that department, comes up with yet another 3rd down conversion. 12-yard pickup out to the 39-yard line of New York.
Well, that's his 22nd reception, and Parcells has said, just stated, he said the only time we use him is what? In 3rd down in passing situations, and all we're going to do is what? Throw him the football.
Everybody knows it, they just can't stop him.
That's right.
First down, Giants. Sims complete to Bavaro. To the 36-yard line of the Vikings. Jesse Solomon drove him out there. "25-yard gain. Sims to Mark Bavaro, playing with that sore foot. Got a big toe bothering him. He mentioned he missed practice most of the week. Had a bit of a tough game last week against the Eagles when he had 3 early drops. But he's been hot today. First down. Sims with lots of time. Complete to the 11-yard line. It is Bavaro again.
Sims, a guy that's got an one of those F-116 arms, loves to gun it, loves to attack, uses his arm this time. Bavaro, top of your screen, is going to go down and run just simply down the middle, what they call it, just a post route. Now he clears the linebackers, as you can see there, 55. Now he's open, but there's not that much room there, Tim, and Sims really gunned that football in there.
Giants knocking on the door once more. The 11-yard line. Sims 8 of 11, 132 yards. Joe Morris 3. Doug Martin had a piece of him, number 79, and Mike Stensrud, Mark Mullaney, there to help.
You know, if you could compare the two running backs, Morris and Darren Nelson, the one major difference, Tim, is that Morris has the ability to stretch a defense out and then cut back against the grain, whereas Nelson is more of a scat back sprinter. He makes his mind up, gets his direction, and then runs right same area. Morris back against the grain.
Morris passed that 1,000-yard mark back in the first period today. Hockey in motion, Morris again, and met by 4 purple-shirted Vikings. Stensrud with the initial contact. Now remember, Stensrud is in there for Keith Millard. They picked him up when Mullaney got hurt earlier in the season. Elshire was a bit nicked up, and they picked him up as a free agent. And the former Oiler now being pressed into service.
Stensrud, and I played against him at Houston, believe it or not. There's not many guys left in this league I played against, but he was so big that Mike Barber, the tight end down there, called him Mongo. When you talk to him, he doesn't sound like a Mongo.
3rd down. They need to get to the 1 for a first. Deep drop by Sims. Incomplete. Out of the hands of Maurice Carthen.
Vikings playing the rubber band defense. Bend, 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 but don't break. Once again, they've held off the attack by the Giants. The Giants have been unable to cross the goal line. All they've had to settle for so far has been field goals.
Isaac Colt had the coverage. The ball was there. Carthen didn't hold on. Not one of his strengths as a pass receiver. Raul Allegra will kick with the ball spotted just inside the 15-yard line. He's got it. 3 for 3 for Allegra. And the Giants once again take the lead. Teams trading field goals through this first half. And we have 2:23 to play. And at the end of this first half, we'll be going to our studios in New York.
Landry, Coryell, and then add that in with my coach, Chuck Noll. I felt like I would be as prepared to be an offensive coordinator as any person in the National Football League. Coryell, to me, is just absolutely brilliant the way he disguises his offense and constantly gets people open. It seems that every quarterback that plays in that system that he had, Tim, always piled up lots of yardage. And as a quarterback, that's a lot of fun.
I think Dan Fouts would sure agree with you.
Well, Dan Fouts will be in the Hall of Fame, and he'll probably throw for about 60,000 yards once his career's finished.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out from our Will McDonough what's on the mind of Don Coryell now that he's out of San Diego.
Allegre, big first half so far, 3 field goals.
Two by Chuck Nelson. That's all we've had here. Field goal kicking in. Allegra hits this one. Good kick. Deep and down right at the goal line. Rufus Bess gets out to the 26 before he's forced out of bounds. Looks like maybe stepped out at the 24. So the Vikings with 2-minute Tommy about to go to work. 2:14 on the clock. First half down by 3. Rufus Bess has had a fine year returning kickoffs. He's averaging 22.5 a kickoff return.
Talking to Kramer, you know, I asked him, what really is the difference between you this year and the last couple of years? And he said, Terry, really not much difference in me. It's really the people I have around. I'm surrounded with better players.
First down at the Viking 42-yard line. You know, one thing that's been nice about this game, only 1 flag so far in the first half, and we've reached the 2-minute warning. The Giants lead by 3. Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw and a puffed-up Viking here at the Metrodome. The Vikings trailing the Giants 9-6 in Minnesota, but their general manager Mike Lynn saying we are still in the hunt for the Central Division title, conceding nothing to the Chicago Bears, and the Bears trailing Atlanta. Jerry Burns, I'm sure, feeling a victory here over the Giants, a win next week against Cincinnati, and then they've got a little easier group of teams to deal with through the remainder of the season. Jerry Burns finally got the job he coveted all along and is enjoying a winning season. First down, Vikings. 2 minutes to play first half. They're at their own 41. Alan Rice. About 9 on the play to the 50-yard line. And now let's take you to Brent Musburger in New York for another NFL update.
Well, Tim, here's the moment the Minnesota Viking fans have been looking for. Mike Tomczak's pass is intercepted. Touchdown Atlanta, 14 yards. Tomczak, 0 of 6. 2 interceptions. Falcons up by 10. Back to Tim and Terry.
Falcons are a good football team. Bears are finding it out today. Second down and a yard to go here. From the shotgun, Kramer on second and short, inside to Darren Nelson. Oh, what a nice play. Crowd loves it. Andy Hedden made the stop, but they're at the Giant 40.
It's a play that everyone has that runs a shotgun, the little hand forward, get it off to your back. As you can see, Kramer's going to take the ball. Everyone expecting pass, a little simple handoff. Good job of blocking by the left side of the offensive line. Nelson getting outside, making Kennard miss, getting up for a first down.
Short change the short man. They're at the 36-yard line with a timeout. Tommy Kramer limping off. It's like he might have hurt his ankle or his foot on the last play. What a competitor this guy is. You have to feel good for him in that after the drudgery of the past few seasons, here he is proving that he's still the quarterback he always was. In fact, some of his teammates say, hey, he's not even reached his peak. Another 3 or 4 years, maybe he'll reach his peak then.
Well, you got to now Wade Wilson is warming up, so you've got to ask yourself now Kramer's going back in the field, but you know, he had evidently, very simply, Nelson could have stepped on his foot, or, you know, got an ankle there. There's a simple handoff and no one touched him, and so I'm surprised that he got hurt. The only thing you can figure out is that Nelson stepped on him.
Well, you need a Derrick to get him out of the game, especially in a 2-minute drill. This is where he loves it. 1:46 on the clock. They're down by 3. They're in the second period at the Metrodome. First down. Darren Nelson, and Kramer quickly calls timeout as they have a first down at the 26-yard line of the New York Giants.
I talked to Tommy Kramer about 2-minute offense and I asked him how they ran their 2-minute offense. Well, he said we work on it every day in practice, which we've seen this year very few teams do, but I can go to the line of scrimmage, see the coverage, and make audibles at the line of scrimmage. That time he made an audible when he read blitz by the Giants.
We'll be right back. Giants in front. Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw. A tight fit here at the Metrodome. The Vikings are driving with 1:39 on the clock, and they have one more timeout remaining. They're at the 26-yard line of the Giants. Jerry Burns, a lot of fire burns in that little man. He just doesn't show a whole lot during the course of the game unless something real bad happens. Some good happens, he doesn't show much. Some bad happens.
I would expect 2 plays being called with 1:39 now. They would like to have one timeout going with an under minute left, so I'd expect Vikings to run 2 plays.
Got a first down. It's Alan Rice. Rice gets about 4. The 22, you hear Kramer, huddle up, huddle up.
And now you're 1:29 and counting, huddling up. See, I don't understand why you don't have a play called. You're going to run the football. Why not have another play called? Go ahead, line up, and get it off. Because as Tommy said, I can call the whole offense at the line of scrimmage.
They need 6 for a first down. Carter turned inside. Kramer threw outside. Clock is stopped. 1:05. Third down coming up.
That's an option route that Carter has, but the problem is that if the cornerback, the guy covering Carter, is pressing him, then it's a quick inside route, a quick slant. That time, though, Holt was way off, and all he wanted Carter to do was break out, and that's where Tommy threw the football.
Third down and 6. Miscue on the route. Alfred Anderson, the closest man to it, he went outside. Hassan Jones, the rookie, number 84, came inside toward the goalpost.
Well, they were just totally out of sync on that entire series. One time misreading a cornerback, this time Hassan Jones going deep, then cutting off short. Kramer thinking he's going to stay deep. Tim ends up throwing it deep.
So again, it's up to Chuck Nelson. He's been perfect today. 2 for 2. Allegre, his counterpart for the Giants, 3 for 3. Greg Coleman will hold from the 29-yard line. No weather to worry about here. And that one is wide. Chuck Nelson misses from 39. And the opportunity to tie escapes the Vikings. 55 seconds still to play, and Phil Simms and company have got some time to make something happen before halftime. Giants will start from their 21-yard line. Next Sunday, it'll be the Packers at Chicago against the Bears, and if the Bears lose to Atlanta today, things really tightening up, and the Vikings very aware of that. They will be in Cincinnati against the AFC team out of the Central Division. 55 seconds left for Phil Simms and company. Galbraith gets about 6 near the 29-yard line of the Giants. Time ticking under 45 seconds. Rufus Best made the stop. He's in as a nickel back in the prevent defense for the Vikes. Second down, another short pass to Bavaro, and Bavaro has a first down of the Giant 45.
Now you see the difference in how the Giants are handling the 2-minute as opposed to the Vikings. Sim calling 2 plays, reads the defense, dropped the ball off, picks up 25 yards on 2 pass completions, calls timeout. There's 30 seconds left. You know, you can literally run the football, throw the football in 30 seconds. You can, get at least 4 more plays off if you're running 2 plays at a time. And that's a smart football. And the Vikings are playing what you consider very simple defenses, Tim. There's nothing major to read. Just get guys out there and get them the football and let them run.
That's Pat Hodson in the red jersey, along with Bill Parcells. Simms currently 10 of 14. He only completed 8 passes last week against the Eagles and only 14 in the 2 previous games together. So they're doing what Bill Parcells was hoping they could do today.
Well, the thing he said, he went in earlier in the week and talked to Simms. Just called him in, wanted to have one of those head coach to quarterback chats. And I said, well, why did you call him in? He said, I wanted to remind him to get back to being fearless and daring. Be the Phil Simms I know. Don't be afraid to throw it downfield. Throw it downfield. And Phil Simms admitted, he said, I lost a little confidence. I wasn't doing the things I normally do, whether it's because of the injuries to his wide receivers or not. So I think today, fearless and daring very much describes the way Phil Simms has played in the first half.
He's got 30 seconds left from his own 45-yard line. Complete. First down, Giants.
Get up and have another play now. Set them and get the football off.
Bobby Johnson gets him to the 37 of Minnesota. And they do as Bradshaw orders. Flag on the play. Galbraith. 2 Vikings on him. Solomon and Carl Lee did not give him much at all. A couple of yards, but a flag down.
Now, the thing you would have liked to, everyone has to understand.
Illegal motion sign against the Giants.
Everyone has to understand the time, how far we need to go to get in field goal range. That time, I think that what should have happened is they should have just dropped the ball. Know where you're going, know who's around you, and go ahead and execute the plays.
Pat Haggerty with the infraction.
Illegal motion. Number 60. Offense. Still first down.
Brad Benson, the left tackle.
But now you don't have enough time for a field goal, because if you complete it in bounds to get the first down, to really get the ball out of bounds, Phil has got to drop back to the 50-yard line and throw the football, say, 25 yards.
Raul comes in. You saw an angry Bill Parcells reacting to that penalty because it has backed up Raul Alegre considerably. They'll have to spot it at the 50-yard line.
Ooh.
5 seconds on the clock.
60-yarder.
Now Alegre has a long of 44 on the season. He's 3 for 3, as you can see here today. And it is short and a little wide to the left. A 60-yard attempt for Raul Alegre as time expires. And Bill Parcells still furious at the penalty that backed up the Giants and put it out of Alegre's range. They lead 9-6 at halftime.